Good evening, everybody. Good to be with you again tonight on Tuesday night. I've got a new little camera going on here, so I'm hoping that the video quality is a little bit better. But I hope you've had a wonderful day. I hope it's not been too hot. Pretty soon it'll be cold weather, and everybody will be saying, "Oh, I wish it was summer again." But it's summer now, so we'll enjoy it now. Hi, David. I want to continue on with part 2, and I don't think I'll be a very long time tonight, but part 2 of, actually I've titled this Being the Change, because we see that all the time, be the change, be the change. Well, I see things all the time, and I always think, well, tell me what that means. What does it mean to be the change? Okay, so I've taken 3 little things, and tonight is part 2, and tonight is primarily about gratitude. And gratitude is a very, very powerful element that we can have in our lives. It changes us, it changes the world around us, it changes the other people around us. And so I just want to talk tonight a little bit. I was inspired about this by a reading that our friend Stephanie did from the book Everyday Spirit by Mary Davis. And I'm going to read just part of this. This was from August the 6th. And Stephanie, if you're listening to this, I know you might not think that not that many people listen or get much out of it, but I'm telling you what, it makes a difference in many, many people every day. I listen and I listen and I listen, and I get really good stuff. So thank you, Stephanie, for your reading and being consistent and being faithful to what you feel has been an assignment for you. Everyday Spirit by Mary Davis on August the 6th. And just part of it I'm going to read. Our thanks and appreciation unite us with the life of whatever we are thankful for and appreciative of, making a compatible blend of forces to help develop on various levels, including the physical. Gratitude makes everything grow. Now, I jumped ahead of myself. Before I wanted to read this, I wanted to tell you what gratitude, the root word of gratitude, means, comes from the word gratus, Gratus, and it is the same word as being thankful. So I often use being grateful and being thankful as one and the same, and I think they pretty much are. So when we give thanks, when we are grateful for things, we know that it's a nice thing. We know that it's good for us, but do we realize that it actually can affect and bring change to the physical elements around us? She writes, gratitude makes everything grow. Okay, let's just keep that in our mind. We know how gratitude helps us to see the abundance in our lives instead of the lack. But do we understand that our gratitude can physically change things? That's some food for thought. Mary Davis, where are you getting all this? Is there scientific proof? I think not, but I think there's truth to it. When we give thanks, listen to this, we enhance the light around the object of our thanks. Many of us give thanks for our food. Many of us give thanks for our home. We give thanks for our car. We give thanks for not only things, but we give thanks for people. We give thanks for the breath that we breathe. And if this is indeed true, that when we give thanks for something, we enhance the light around it. You see, we are light beings. And so when we usher forth thanks or gratefulness, we are giving light to that object. When we appreciate something, we change the very energy surrounding it. I spoke of that last week. I talked about how that if you're on a job and if you're the boss and you come along and somebody's having a real day in the doldrums and they're not being very productive because they just don't feel good. And we're all like that. We're not all 100% all the time. But if you, as the boss, will come along and show some appreciation, suddenly the energy around that person changes. And suddenly that day that they had that was just dark and dreary and doldrum and I just really don't want to be here, suddenly because you appreciate them, you give value to them, suddenly the energy around them changes and suddenly they become more productive. It works. You try it if you're the boss. And if you're not the boss, try it with somebody that you know. Take along with you today an awareness of the power of your appreciation for all living things. Know that you are a being of light, and when you admire any living thing, you feed it with healing energy and change it from within. My God, we are powerful beings because we are creatures of light and we feed that light and we change things from within. Have you ever been around somebody that just had what we call the glow? What I call the glow. I think Oprah Winfrey calls it, they've got the it factor. Have you ever been around somebody and you looked at their eyes and there was just a light inside of them? It was just glowing, beaming. Don't you like to be around those people? Don't you feel good when you're around those people? Why? Because what's happening is the light that is within them is emanating from them, and it begins to move into you and upon you, and suddenly you feel the light, you feel the energy, you feel that creative power inside of you. That's why we like to be around those kind of people, and that's why sometimes it's not so pleasant to be around the opposite kind of people. Although we have to do that. But isn't it just a wonderful, joyous thing to be around people that feed your spirit, that feed your soul, that put a smile on your face? Why? It's not because they're a rocket scientist. It's not because they're any great being. They may not even have a high school education. They may not even went to school. But they've got the it factor. They've got the light that emanates from them. And let me tell you what, you and I can have the same thing. It takes a little bit of practice. It takes a little bit of mind changing, paradigm shift. And we can begin to realize that we have the power to change this world, and it doesn't cost us anything. Now let's go on. I'm not going to be long tonight, but that's all I'm going to read from Mary Davis. But she said in there, gratitude makes everything grow. Gratitude, and I read this the other day, and you've probably seen it too. Gratitude is a magnet for miracles. I asked my friend Sharon Hollis, I said, I've heard you say that before. I've heard you say that gratitude is the very source of joy. It's the key to joy. I said, I know you're very well read. I'm not, but she is. And I said, do you have any scientific data or facts on that? And she said, no, Sue, I really don't. But she said, I will tell you this, it works. And she said, it kind of goes back to the law of attraction. Have you ever heard of that before? Let me read you about the law of attraction. In the New Thought philosophy, the law of attraction is a pseudoscience based on the belief that positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences into a person's life. The belief is based on the idea that people and their thoughts are made from pure energy, and that a process of like energy attracting like energy exists through which a person can improve their health, their wealth, and their personal relationships. That is the law of attraction. Now, is it a science? Is it a scientific fact? No, but it's maybe a pseudoscience. And while it may be a pseudoscience, there are many ancient manuscripts that say basically the same thing. In the Christian scriptures or the Bible, we read that you will reap what you sow. We also read that if you give, it shall be given to you. In other words, what you put out is going to come back to you. And I don't know which religion or which ancient manuscript teaches it, but there's the concept of karma, that whatever you put out is going to come back to you. Now, granted, sometimes what we put out is not so good, and it might come back, and it might bite us in the little you-know-what. You ever had that happen? I have. You probably have too. But anyway, these are things, these are ancient teachings, these are belief systems, and to put it in the modern vernacular is this: what goes around comes around. What goes up must come down. So you see, while it's not a science, there is truth to the things that I'm talking about tonight. If we will begin to exercise gratitude for everything, the Bible says, in everything give thanks. Oh, is that just the good stuff? No. In everything give thanks. In the good times, in the bad times, in it all give thanks. I want you to know that I myself have been to the place before that what we would call fell from grace and fell from people's expectations and fell from all that was expected and required of me. I fell flat on my face, and it was in that time, it was a very dark time, and I, who had traveled all over the world teaching about the power of prayer and giving seminars on prayer and how to pray, I came to the place that I could not pray. I just didn't have it in me. I was too broken. I was too bruised. I was in too much of a dark place. But I discovered one thing in that place: to give thanks. And I remember every day when I would get up out of my bed, I may not be able to get out of my bed because I was so low. But when I opened my eyes, I would begin to give thanks. And through that process of gratitude and of giving thanks, after a while, didn't happen overnight, but after a while, there came a turning. Why? Because you see, what goes around comes around. Give, and it shall be given to you. It's a powerful, powerful thing. Let me see what else I got here. Oh, one more thing. Gratis also means free, from the Latin word, whatever. Gratis means free. Now we're talking tonight about be the change, or how to change the world without it costing us 1 cent. Does it cost anything for me to be grateful? Does it cost anything for me to give thanks? Oh, I just thought of one of the parables, and it was the parable about the 10 lepers. And Jesus healed all 10 lepers. Now, leprosy is a bad disease, and they were really a cursed people. No one had anything to do with them back in those days. But he healed all 10 of them. But one of them returned to give thanks. And the scripture says that that one was not only healed, he was made whole. And we've learned in these classes to be made whole is beyond being healed. To be made whole is to be restored. It is to be renewed. It is to come back into a place that we once were. We were made whole because this one man returned to give thanks. Did it cost him anything? It didn't cost him anything but a few minutes of his time. But what was the benefit of him returning to give thanks? Oh my God. What is the benefit when we have a grateful heart? What is the benefit when we give thanks? When somebody does something for us and we give them thanks and we show gratitude, there is so much benefit in that. Listen, my friend, I can't say it any plainer than this. What goes around comes around. So tonight, I'm just going to close with this. I'm not going long, but I want us to begin to train our mind and to train this tongue and to be a vessel of thanksgiving and of gratitude, because we are not only going to change us, but we are going to change our world, even our physical world, by doing so. So I'm going to close with that. I thank you for being with us tonight, with me tonight. And I'm going to see you next week for part 3, and that's going to be about kindness. And so, God bless you. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night.